Scanning for audio.
Welcome to a Tin Dog podcast. This time I'm going to be talking about the latest Big Finish release, no surprise there, and it's called, I want to get this completely right, it's Worlds of Doctor Who special release. Number 1, Rani Takes on the World Beyond Bannerman Road. It's Sarah Jane Smith without Sarah Jane Smith. Now this came out a little time ago, but I couldn't bring myself to watch it. Well, listen to it. And the reason is, if you've listened to the Tin Dog podcast long enough, is that I utterly loved the Sarah Jane Smith adventures. I preferred them to Torchwood, which isn't a huge stretch, but I also preferred them to Doctor Who that happened to be on at the time. I know. You did hear me correctly. Sarah Jane Smith adventures spoke to me on a level that Torchwood perhaps couldn't. Doctor Who wasn't. I'm not saying Doctor Who couldn't, but it felt more like the Doctor Who I loved. Perhaps I was just old at the time. And this is 15 years ago. So God help me now. But I obviously loved the character of Sarah Jane Smith. But after Liz had died, I thought, fine, that's gone. Now apparently there's something that was recorded some time ago during lockdown that I've never seen, and I'm going to go away and watch that now because it gets mentioned in the extras. So that's the reason I've not watched it, is because I was thinking it's just going to be too emotional for me. And at the minute, things aren't great in the world. And I'm using stories to get away from things that are a bit crap. So, and I just want to share with you that I had root canal surgery this week as well. This was the catch-up session. The first one took absolutely ages. I was under. And then when they went to check on how it was going and how the abscess had gone down and everything like that, they discovered that the tooth had sheared in two, so they had to have it removed. I'm getting old. I'm losing teeth. This is not good. This is also not what you're here for. You're not here to find out about my life, you don't want to see me make a meringue. You don't want to know about gardening. What you want to do is hear me talk about Doctor Who or Big Finish or whatever. So I'm going to do that now. I put on my big boy pants and I went, I'm going to listen to this because I loved Sarah Jane Smith and I loved the characters. I loved them a stupid amount. I was way too old to be watching this show, and yet it was the one show in the whole of the Doctor Who universe that really spoke to me. Because it was absolutely about solving things with your intellect, with your emotion, and without massive guns. So, here we go. I shall now read the synopsis in my ridiculous voice. This title was released in April 2023. It's exclusively available to buy until the 30th of June 2023. Now, I'm going to start off by saying, as always, I'm going to be spoiler free. There's quite a big set of spoilers I could go into that I really desperately want to discuss with someone, but I'm not that kind of a person. Why would I spoil your enjoyment? I'm not a monster. Life on Bannerman Road was always an adventure for Rani Chandra and her friends. A childhood mystery and wonder of meeting aliens, time travellers, lost princes, intergalactic robots and so much more, all alongside Sarah Jane Smith. Sarah Jane is gone. Maybe that's it. This is the first time that it's been dealt with at Big Finish that Liz isn't available for the role. We've got Sadie playing her for us, almost helping us with our denial. This is ridiculous. This is a character. Sarah Jane Smith has died. There is a funeral. We can cope with this. We're grown-ups. I'm sorry. I need to get on with an actual review. Here Today by Joe Lidster. Sorry, there are 3 stories in this box set. I'm usually a lot more together than this. Here Today, Joseph Lidster. Destination, James Goss. Destination Wedding. And The Witching Tree, Lizzie Hopley. These are 3 of the single best constructed stories Big Finish have done. Yes, the performances are going to be great. They've got some cracking actors. Let's face it, it's Big Finish, it's a new range. They want to get it right. And trust me, they've got it right. In one of the extras, the producers are sat there and they're saying, "We just hope we got it right. Trust me, you got it right." Here Today, Joseph Lidster. Years after her adventures with Sarah Jane Smith and friends, Rani Chandra is a successful journalist. She brought down a government. Her podcast is making waves, unlike mine, which never has. And she's about to be surprised by a visit from her best friend, Clyde Langer, who has an announcement of his own. But tonight, Clyde isn't the only visitor to Ealing. In the skies above, a flying saucer approaches, and only one person on Earth can stop it destroying London. It's a gorgeously constructed piece. I don't want to talk about the mechanics of it, but if ever you sat down to create an introduction, a reintroduction to characters, to find out what they've been doing for 15 years, to show that they aren't 15, they are now 30, which is beautifully well done. It's the first time Big Finish has gone, sod it, they're old now, let's embrace that, let's find out where they've been. And they do that in the most incredibly thoughtful, thought-provoking and plot-driven way. Conversations happen, then happen again, and then they are in depth. You know what? I don't want to say more. Joseph Lidster has provided a gorgeous piece of narrative structure to hang on fantastic character revelations and speeches. People always talk to characters drive the narrative or narrative drive the characters. In this one, there is a perfect balance of that. And it's really good. I mean, let's face it, that's what you want from all of this. All 3 stories are tremendously strong. Don't be tricked into thinking, oh, I won't watch this. I will think, oh, I'll just get round to it eventually. No, this is genuinely the beginning of a potentially great series. Story 2. Destination Wedding, James Goss. Potentially the more humorous of the 3, but also one of the most sinister. Synopsis. Rani and Geeta, more about that in a second, have been invited to a dream wedding on a luxury island resort. But how did Tiff from school end up marrying a film star? And why has she asked the worst people from her life alongside Hollywood A-listers? While Geeta samples the canapes and critiques the flower arrangements, Rani senses something's amiss. The perfect wedding comes at a price, but who will be paying? With the exception of one observation that I really wanted Rani to say halfway through this, and possibly should have turned up in a script check, a reference to something that's happening to Clive, which is very important in story 1, really should have been mentioned in story 2. That's fine. That's a tiny niggle, because this is one of the most Sarah Jane Smith type stories. An event is happening, something sinister's going on, they have to find out why without it affecting them too much. It feels great. We've had so much character, not info dump. Info dump is the wrong word and it is derogatory. We've had so much character information given to us that now we've got something new. Story 3. The Witching Tree, Lizzie Hopley. Lizzie's producing some gorgeous work at the minute. They're haunting, but you still capture the sci-fi element of the whole thing. It's a nice tightrope to walk because, well, Rani's doing a podcast. She's after facts, she's after narrative, anyway. Chasing a podcast award, the Poddies. You can always sign me up for one, remember to vote. Encouraged by a secret source, again, more about that, Rani investigates a haunted restaurant built around a twisted tree. The owners could be faking the spooking activity, but Rani soon realises the tree is not what it seems. A terrifying threat to the planet Earth is revealed. Clyde and Phoenix are dragged into the fight. Rani is torn between revealing the truth and keeping a secret too terrifying to broadcast. Lizzie's done some great work here. I mean, there's some fantastic characterisation, as I've said all along, but it's the atmosphere. It's the use of different recording techniques. It's the... well, there's something that sounds a lot like one of those number stations going on. All beautifully constructed. All incredibly well delivered. You know what's happening. You know what all the characters are, but you've also got the different mediums which are dealt with here. You've got photography, you've got the podcast, you've got the actual storyline that's going on. It all interlocks gorgeously. And I really like that this is what she's doing now, because Sarah Jane Smith wasn't always the incredibly popular journalist. She was a journalist who ended up writing sci-fi novels. She ended up being poo-pooed by the establishment, and that's probably what's going to happen to Rani. She needs to return to Bannerman Road at some point. Luke needs to reappear at some point in these stories. But as always, this is a Rani-focused storyline. There are other characters from the Sarah Jane Smith adventures which can turn up. And I'm looking forward to hearing them all. Take your time, introduce them one at a time, bring them back, take them away. Have Luke working for UNIT, which is what we so want. We also want that in the new TV series, Russell. I know it's your birthday, but sort it out. We want Luke working with Osgood, possibly in Geneva. It'll just make us all smile. Little punch the air moments. That's what we like. It is. So we'll get those things, because I know that this series is going to go from strength to strength. Here's the trailer. Decide for yourself, as always. But until next time, be seeing you.
The Worlds of Doctor Who. Rani Takes on the World Beyond Bannerman Road.
Hello again, Bannerman Road.
We interrupt this program with some breaking news.
What appears to be a flying saucer over North London.
Oh, school's shut down, but still with the aliens though, yeah?
Blatherine! Evil clowns! Computer in the wall! Mr. Smith, I need you!
This, whatever all this is, it had better not just be an excuse for them to catch up on the good old days.
So come on, who are you?
Rani Chandra. And when I was a kid, I lived across the road from this amazing, brilliant woman, and we used to help good aliens and fight bad aliens. And it was so brilliant, and I'm just trying to be half as good as she was.
Rani, who's with you?
Tyler?
Your inner circle's been breached.
22810, Serport Arc.
What the hell is all this, Rani?
The Witching Tree. One of the strangest stories I've encountered yet.
You have to find a mystery wherever you go, Rani Chandra.
It's what Sarah Jane taught me.
Watch out!
Behind the bar, run!
The army's trying to cross the portal. You two, get out!
What, let you be the hero? No chance.
All those things we did, they're like a lifetime ago, but also it's like they happened yesterday.
They really were the best of times. Until now. I'm Rani Chandra, and I'm taking on the world.
Big Finish, for the love of stories.